Hey everybody, Brian Trout coming to you from Mossy Creek Fly Fishing with the Fly Fishing Forecast. The date today is Monday, the 29th of May. So happy Memorial Day to everybody. Hope you're enjoying a long weekend for many of you. Hope you're getting out on the water and doing some fishing. So we're still dry. We haven't had a lot of rain. We got a little bit this morning. The good news is there's a chance for some weather, for some rain today, tonight, maybe a little bit in tomorrow, maybe even a little bit into tomorrow night. So this low pressure that's just been spinning off the coast now, seems like for 8-9 days, we've had winds out of the east, southeast, or northeast every day now for like 8 or 9 days, which is quite unusual around here for it to be that persistent. This low is spinning its way up the coast and it's throwing some moisture in. Let's just hope that we pick up a good amount. Most of the forecast models are saying 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. So not a lot, but we'll take it. I've been out brook trout fishing, guiding for brook trout, guiding for smallmouth, guiding on the spring creek. So I've been kind of all over. That's May for us here at Mossy Creek Fly Fishing. We've kind of got a lot of options, a lot of good water to cover. So let's go through the forecast a little bit. Let's go through some bugs and kind of figure out what to look forward to. Okay, we're still in May. There's still a lot of aquatic insects hatching all over the place. I was up in the mountains a couple of times this week, and still quite a few bugs around. Most of the bugs on our mountain streams are going to be late afternoon, early evening. Okay, get a lot of folks coming in and saying, "Hey, I was out all day, saw one here, one there, lots of midge swarms." Most of those mayflies, the big March browns, your drakes, all those are going to be coming in at low light hours. All right. So depending on which direction your drainage is facing and how early the sun gets, behind those hillsides, could determine when you're going to see bugs. The beauty of this time of year on a brook trout stream is it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's really fun and nice to be there when there's a big emergence and a big spinnerfall and watch those little pools go crazy. But they're eating like crazy anyway. They're eating those bugs. We have giant eastern stoneflies all over the place. We've got giant drakes. We've got huge March browns. We've got caddis everywhere. And so they are just sitting there waiting for anything to hit the water surface. Now, the low water, I know I've been talking about this for a while, but the key is to pick your battles. The beauty of brook trout fishing is it's like a brook trout stream is like a novel. Okay, each pool is different, just like each page is different. You don't know what to expect around the next corner. If you foul up a pool, if you spook the fish, you walk 10 feet, you go up a little waterfall or through a little run, and you're on a brand new pool. The fish don't know you were there. You start new, fresh, refresh each time you go. Okay, really pick your battles. There's a lot of places where you have these really long, drawn out, slow, crystal clear, we call them glass pools. They're tough. They're going to be tough. All right. You're going to spook a couple fish at the lip. You can spook fish just by false casting a perfectly good cast over top of the pool. All right. The only way to deliver the line is to cast over the pool and you've just scared the fish. You could have moving water way up at the head that you're like, oh, I bet you there's a bunch that won't be spooked there. But you're pushing fish and you're scaring every fish along the way up to the head of the pool. So pick your battles, okay? Because you go 10 feet through the woods and then the next pool is rough and turbulent and it's got a wave train going through the middle of it. It's got eddies on both sides. It's loud. The light's broken. They don't see you. They don't hear you. They don't know you're there. Boom, first cast fish. Boom, second cast fish. Okay? So you just got to pick your battles. And then hopefully we get a little bump up from some rain over the next 2 days. That'll help conceal us a little bit more. But here's the good news. Water temps are awesome. It's actually been quite cool. All right. We had 2 or 3 nights this week in the 30s at my house. So cool, and days where it's only getting up to 62, 63 and overcast. So the water temps are ideal for brook trout. The food is there. You just have to be sneaky. Okay. Another thing that we've been dealing with this week is big flies and skinny water. How do you do it? The answer is you can't. I mean, you can't really push number 8 big winged drake on 6X tippet. You just can't do it, okay? It'll spin it. It won't turn it over, okay? So trying to throw a big PMX or something on really, really light, supple tippet isn't going to work, all right? So what do? Well, you can put 5X on, fish your big nervous water pools. where they just aren't as leader shy and catch a bunch of fish. You can fish those big drakes in the low light hours when they can't see as well and fish 5X and do just fine. Or if you're out there in the middle of the day, you can do what I do, just put on a 9-foot 6X leader, maybe even 7X, and fish a size 16 fly. Nice little bushy parachute. A Mr. Rapidan parachute works awesome. Those little para-wolves that we have work awesome. And catch fish on them all day long. All right. So anyway, that's what's going on up in the mountains. Expect that to continue. Those big bugs are going to be around for a couple more weeks before we have to start to transition into other types of food. All right. Keep your fingers crossed for more rain for the brook trout streams. All right. Down on the spring creeks, starting to get a little bit more consistency to the drake spinner falls that are happening in the evening. Sulphurs are starting to peter out. Drakes are starting to come in. Which is good news for those of you who can only fish for like an hour or two after work. All right. Days are getting longer, nights are getting shorter. You know, it stays light out there on places like Mossy. You can see at 8:30 at night right now, which is pretty awesome. That's the window. So really get out there and try and enjoy the low light hours. Fishing in the morning will be a little bit tougher as long as they're eating those huge meals right before dark and into dark. Okay. Eating a size 20 trico is not as exciting when you've been eating giant drakes all evening long, okay? So we're in that time where window fisheries, spring creeks are window fisheries, pick your window. Right now, that window is last hour of daylight, all right? If you're out there in the middle of the day, it's okay, you can still catch fish, chip away. We've already started catching some fish on some terrestrials, little beetles and stuff, even though they're not out in big numbers. Old fish know exactly what those are. The multiflora rose bushes are in full bloom, and so it won't be long behind that, about 3-4 more weeks before we really start to see a lot of those beetles come in, which is just so much fun on the creek, okay? So get out there, kind of chip away through the day. Fishing little nymphs underneath the PMX is a really good way to go. Dry dropper out on places like Mossy, Buffalo Creek, Beaver Creek, Smith Creek. That's kind of the best way to fish throughout the day. You can always fish a small streamer with the water being low and clear. Keep them a little bit smaller, all right? The river's in great shape. It's same water level that you would normally find in like mid to late July. And because of that, we're getting pretty good topwater bites. Bites a little slow on these 40-degree mornings because it's still kind of cool. Definitely heats up as you go in through the afternoon. It'd be nice to get some return flow here in a day or two, getting some winds out of the south. Looks like by mid to late week, we're going to start getting up into the 80s. All right. Remember, smallmouth bass, their metabolism goes up when water temperatures go up. All right. That's why we catch so many of them in the heat of the summer. Largemouth bass become more lethargic. That's why you got to catch them in the early morning hours or the late evening hours in the dog days of summer. So the river's fishing well, the James is fishing well, the Shenandoah is fishing really well. We're catching fish equal parts on bait fish pattern streamers stripped to the water, murdich minnows, CK bait fish. They're fishing really well in the shallows. We are doing really well in topwater because the water's low, all right? Now remember, this time of year, there's not tons and tons of dragonflies and damselflies. I have yet to hear my first dog day cicadas. So there's not a lot of big cicadas and stuff around. So popping bugs will work, cork bugs will work. However, working much better than that are your swimming frogs, things that make a little bit of noise, okay? So topwater flies that make noise, floating murdich that gets moved through the water, floating crelexes, and Whitlock's diving frogs. They're fishing awesome, okay? So pick your battles. Again, if you're floating a whole stretch of river, there's places where the topwater is going to be killer, and there's places where you want to switch to subsurface when the water's a little bit deeper. We're getting close to harvest time on the DHs, on the delayed harvest, so get out there if you've got a few more days to give. Get out there and enjoy those before they open up for the summer, because it'll be all the way until October before you'll want to get on those again. So we also have some really important events coming up over the next several weeks that I wanted to let everybody know about. One is the annual Mossy Creek Invitational. This is a fundraiser that we help out with every year. It's for Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing, which is an amazing nonprofit. If you haven't heard about them, go look them up, Project Healing Waters. You can find a lot of information. We help disabled vets and get them out on the water and kind of help them out through this wonderful sport that we all love. The MCI, this will be the 14th annual, but we've been doing it for 16 years, and we raise a lot of money, and it goes to help programs all over the United States as well as here locally in the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. So we'll have 15 participants coming in from all over the United States, and there's a lot of ways to get involved for those of you who are interested. We'll have links up throughout the week. You can go to Project Healing Water's website, look up the Mossy Creek Invitational, or MCI. There's you can donate, hit the donate now button. You can donate $5. You can donate $500. There's information on how you can attend if you still want to. There's time, and there's great silent auction and raffles and all kinds of stuff as well, that you can kind of browse through and see if there's something you want to contribute to. So that'll be on this coming Saturday. We'll have a lot of folks out on Mossy Creek enjoying the fishing. So following weekend, the 11th, fly truck's back in action. We're heading south this time. We're heading an hour south down to Lexington, Virginia, to Devil's Backbone Brewing in Lexington. So be on the lookout for that. For those of you who live in that area, Buena Vista, Covington, Clifton Forge, Troutville, Stanton, if you aren't too far away, it's going to be super fun. Great way to spend a Saturday at the brewery, eating some great food, having some drinks, and learning how to fly cast. It's all going to be free. Fly casting is all free. And then the weekend after that, on Father's Day, we are heading to Richmond, to Hardywood Brewing, West Creek. So for all of our friends in Richmond and family and stuff there, we're really looking forward to being in Richmond with our fly truck. So, all right, that's it for this week. I will see you all next weekend.